A few years ago, while I was working alone on my first video game, I was incredibly happy. I had released a demo, sort of test, for the first levels, mechanics, and art, with the sole purpose of showing the progress to my friends and family. It only took one single question to wipe the smile off my face and freeze my blood. Hey, are you going to add enemies? In that exact second, the world stopped. I hadn't thought about enemies, and not because they weren't needed, but because programming an artificial intelligence absolutely terrified me. In life, we can run into a topic, an event, or an obstacle that make us feel absolutely terrified, something that clouds our judgment and bends us to its will. Every developer who is passionate about learning will face obstacles of all shapes and sizes. Many of them we overcome easily, others take a bit more effort, but there are some that hit a nerve and manage to completely freeze us. Learning is always a difficult and demanding process, but what I am talking about here isn't just a high difficulty curve. It's something that stops the learning process, then distracts, stagnates, and makes picking it back up incredibly hard, mainly because it's frustrating to run into a problem that forces us completely out of our comfort zone and make us second guess our next step. In these situations, we hit a wall face first, and we don't know how to climb over it because the fear just paralyzes us. It's like those dreams where you need to run, but your legs won't respond. You know exactly what you need to do, but you are frozen. That's how it feels. In my case, the monster in that dream was artificial intelligence. I convinced myself that I wasn't smart enough to understand it, so I prefer to look the other way. Most of the time, this fear has a name: fear of failure, fear of making a mistake. And even though today I'm talking about code, this feeling can be found in any area of game development or life itself. It's common to run into it, for example, when studying. It makes us doubt ourselves. We think we'll never be able to grasp that concept. It's a paradox. We are capable of devouring different topics of the same or even greater difficulty, but this one specific topic makes us feel weak, incapable of overcoming it. Even if we spend an eternity trying, the dread we feel is deeply human. We aren't bad developers for fearing a certain topic. Our mind is an imperfect mechanism that is just trying to do its job to ensure our survival at all costs. Fear was designed specifically to detect danger, but since our minds are flawed, sometimes we see dangers where there is none, and we imagine the obstacle to be way more terrible than it actually is. Think about it. We fear fire because it can burn us, but instead of understanding it, controlling it, and fueling it intelligently, we blindly throw more gasoline on it, and the fires grows larger and more uncontrollable. This feeling is a senseless fear, and it's dangerous because it led us to a fake exit, dodging the problem through procrastination. It's important to bring up the famous procrastination at this point, because it's the first smoke screen we think of when we face this fear. 2 weeks ago, I was about to resume my studies on artificial intelligence in Unreal Engine. There was no clear reason for the fear I felt, but my mind looked for a quick exit, studying something else before focusing fully on AI. I told myself, well, to be a good gameplay programmer and break into the AAA industry, I need to know about architecture, patterns, optimization. I better study that first. Lie. That was just my brain finding the perfect emergency exit. Productive procrastination. Procrastination isn't just wasting time scrolling on your phone. It also disguises itself as productive tasks. These tasks, while helpful, are neither urgent nor a priority. We ask ourselves, why not study topic C before topic A? And we answer, if you study this first, you will better prepare. It's useful to finish secondary tasks, of course, but it's not the priority. We try to find the perfect way to postpone what matters. Procrastination is not a simple act of laziness, but an emotional regulation problem. On its core, it's an unconscious behavior of the brain to avoid the discomfort generated by the specific task, whether it's anxiety, boredom, or that fear of failure. By postponing it, the brain receives a quick reward, a momentary relief. But every time we listen to it, we are truly losing out. Fighting against this is a tough war. It's a constant clash between the system that looks for the instant pleasure which we create by ignoring the problem, and on the other hand, our long-term goal, whether that's breaking into the industry, finish a mechanic, or launching a project. Recognizing this habit is the first step to improve. But there is something worse than procrastination, completely ignoring the topic or taking for granted that it's not that necessary to study it. By ignoring it, we don't even write it down our to-do list. It simply doesn't exist. It's the easiest exit, but also the most cowardly one. Unfortunately, I have suffered the consequences of both. Everything in life has a price, and these bad decisions come with a very high cost. The most important resource we have, time, is the one most affected, but so is our own self-esteem. Self-esteem during the study process is like a machine that crafts emotions. It's not perfect. A high self-esteem generates well-being and security, while a low one usually produces insecurity, sadness, and fear of failure. By ignoring or procrastinating due to unfounded fear, we enter a loop, an endless cycle of self-destruction. Low self-esteem generates fear of failure. That fear makes procrastination our new normal, and procrastinating again lowers our self-esteem even further. If you ever felt like you are sabotaging yourself every single day, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's one of the worst feelings there is. Now that I'm thinking about it, there is nothing worth saving about holding on to a senseless fear. We just putting up obstacles for ourselves. There is no definitive solution to this. You have to fight every single day. It's a continuous training process that starts the moment you wake up. The best advice I can give you is to tackle the task that terrifies you the most at the beginning of the day and leave the more enjoyable ones for the end. It took me years to fully understand this. I recently wrote down everything I need to learn and prioritize it according to the level of fear it generated. At the top of the list after dragging it out for years, AI was still sitting right here. Last week, I opened Unreal and created a clean project to see everything the engine had to offer in this area. I told myself, that's it, let whatever needs to break, break. And I started. Made a state machine simulating a behavior tree, then I refactored it with the first actual behavior tree. After that, I built my first tags in C++, and right now I'm about to start looking into services before delving deeper into combat. It was just a matter of sitting down and starting. AI wasn't some kind of impossible mystical math. It was nodes, conditions, logic, and states. Things I'd already seen in the past. In the end, it was way less unsettling than my mind had built up over the years. You can do the same exercise today. Grab a pen and paper. Write down the tasks you need to complete or the topics you need to study. Prioritize them based on what terrifies you most, and what takes you completely out of your comfort zone. You need to be brutally honest with yourself at this stage. After that, your only goal is going to be finishing the first thing you wrote down, no matter how ugly or unpleasant it might be. You'll find something very similar to what happened to me, a problem that is much manageable than you imagined. At this point, all I can say is that fear won't just disappear. Today is artificial intelligence. Tomorrow it'll be memory optimization, a complex systemic design, or a software pattern that you just can't seem to get right. Learning to code and to live isn't about becoming immune to fear. It's about taking a leap into the unknown and having the courage to do it consistently. Choosing to stop ignoring the problem doesn't just make you a better professional, it gives you back control of your time and it helps your self-esteem. So I ask you, what's the monster you are running away from today in your code or in your life? Let me know in the comments. Grab a piece of paper, write it down at the very top and just do it without overthinking. See you in the next video.